Yet we're calling that the future. Like, the future of innovation is looking like gold-plated trash at this point. It's really unfortunate. Hi, welcome back to whatever this is. My name is Kaysa. I'm online, and today we're going to be talking about how ugly and boring everything is.
Why is everything new so ugly? From cars to houses, interior design. It's almost as if something being modern has become synonymous with it being gray and boring and utterly lifeless.
Also, subscribe to my Twitch and TikTok. I stream a variety of games, and I make random TikToks as well. Yo! Oh my god!
Courage, help. I don't even know where I am. Yeah, I'm finna wrap this up real quick.
Ugly may be a bit strong of a word. However, I'm not the only one to notice how beige, bland, and minimalist everything is. From architecture to appliances to general designs for most things, everything seems to be getting increasingly simplified and lacking any sort of character. Even people have ended up in the same ways, with the wide varieties of trending plastic surgery and fast fashion. So I want to complain. Why? Aren't I supposed to be the casual gamer girl and show watcher who rarely even tries to appear any different than me waking up from my 5th nap? Yes, for the most part. I like to dress for the occasion, and I work from home. I'm also slightly anemic, so I'm always cold. The thing is, in every show and game, there is always need for ambiance. The setting contributes to the ambiance. If Game of Thrones was filmed in the Bronx, people might have had a different opinion about the show. In that same vein, the visual effects, the cosmetics, the attention to detail was superb. Many people cosplayed the characters and would even wish to be in the same gray, rainy, muddy, freezing, dirty areas that some of the characters were. I personally don't think I would choose to be in worlds without plumbing and central heating. I bring this all up to help provide a visual context of what it means to have something be visually stimulating, meaningful, and intricate. It took a lot of effort and research to put all of that together. There is something significant about the quality and purpose to all the designs and placements of the designs and the roles that they play to not only portray the story, but also enhance the user experience. It has inspired people to have weddings and art to express their need for such beauty, still in just the realm of Game of Thrones.
But in my opinion, you need a cape. For colors, I'm going off the houses. Game of Tones, implement that for the bridesmaids, velvet for sure. Or if you really wanted to lean into the theme, like something like this for the bridesmaids would be dope. This is what I'm picturing for the sweetheart table. And this for the rest of the guests.
We don't have that anymore as much. Yes, the artistic and intricate designs and innovations of a creator still exists. Art still exists. We are born to express ourselves. Yet, why is it that luxury apartments are still gray cardboard boxes next to the cheaper cardboard boxes?
Luxury apartments really are the biggest scam. Luxury apartment in general has always been my dream, so now that I'm finally here, I'm just realizing how much of a scam I was sold. They can have it back at this point. It's all cheap materials, cheaply thrown together, and then you pay high-ass rent for it. I'm just like, what?
The only difference is the price, location, and how much effort the seller is willing to hide the problems. In the past, things were built to last, but with purpose, and built to please the eye. We lost that, in my opinion, to one major thing. The good old C word. Capitalism. See, in business, what they teach you a lot now to get started in business is to identify a problem to solve. Then once you have the problem, solve it, sell it. Then when you're able to expand your business, leverage as much as possible. Automate and leverage. That's how you become a CEO with a 300% salary increase every single year.
I wasn't a social media guy. I was a conservative kind of traditional business operator. I got into the space and I started looking at all the people out there teaching how to build businesses and selling classes on it. And so I was like, oh, wow, this space is pretty saturated. And as I started going through it, I realized most of those guys had never actually built or sold anything.
The problem with this model is that you have a series of subsequent effects that ripple through all of the market. I have 5 things. The first is the need to identify a problem. Many business gurus will tell you to niche down and focus on a single problem or need that someone may have. Don't worry about how saturated the market may be. If there's consumers, then there's money to be made. The problem with that is that now we live in a time where everything is a problem. And if everything has a problem, then someone always has a solution. This is turning into an expansive and never-ending string of needing to go to another source to find a solution. A great example is how some brands of printers require you to buy the printer, then the ink, maybe even an ink subscription, then also subscribe to be able to use the app to print using the printer that you bought for your own home.
Whatever you do, do not ever buy an HP printer. Like, this might be my biggest purchase regret, I swear. When I got the printer, I didn't know that you had to subscribe to a subscription in order to use said printer, so I canceled it because I was like, I don't need all this shit. I don't need all these bells and whistles, you to send me ink and paper. Like, I just want to be able to print at my leisure. And so then I tried to print at my leisure, and it was like, no, you literally can't use the printer unless you have a subscription, and you can't use this ink that we sent you either. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll sign up for a subscription. So I resubscribed to like the cheapest plan because I was like, I don't need all this, like, I don't use it that much. So I signed up for like the 10 page a month thing, not knowing that you can literally only print 10 pages a month. And then they cut you off and they're like, no more, we're gonna charge you for each additional page. No, fuck that. I'm getting another new printer because I'm not playing these games. Like,
The point of innovation is to find a unique and artistic solution to fulfill a need. Not all needs are problems that need to be solved, though, which is why it's often artistic and personal to the inventor. When something new comes onto the market, it's often targeting a very small inconvenience that many people haven't complained about, or is something no one had a problem with in the first place. Some may argue that the current forced introduction of AI into all web services can be an example of a solution no one asked for. For a lot of people who we want more accuracy and support, now we're getting less accuracy and unneeded support. AI has its place as a tool. I do not need it in every part of my life for every single thing I'm using. Sometimes using your own brain is a good thing. Let AI help you organize, not live. This model of needing to find a solution to every problem has now created a need for capitalism on every opportunity to make money and dependency on the company that provides the product or service. How this affects how things look is that it is far more likely for there to be far more hoops to jump through to get to a single product or service to exist on a larger scale for consumers. You have packages and subscription services where people will aim for the cheapest version of whatever they are looking for and often settling for less because of that. That affects what consumers choose. They'll choose the cheapest subscriptions, the cheaper packages, the cheaper materials, the cheaper locations, the cheaper apartments. Why? Not because they truly want to, but because there are far more hidden costs and fees disguised as solutions to a single problem that now has 18 other problems with it. Take this concept and pivot into my next point. Cheaper is more accessible, cheaper is faster, and cheaper is better. When it comes to beauty, design, and innovation, there is an authenticity to it that builds a character and a lore. Architecture is a great example of this. It's a cross between pushing the boundaries of functional structures that also can illuminate the beauty of structure and expression. In doing this, it costs time and money. Handcrafted commissioned designs come at a high price for a reason. So that alternative is that companies that have the capital to build relatively standard home designs for a wider market at a cheaper price. That's not a problem, right? Wrong. They are increasingly more bland, cheap, and boring. Purposefully. Expoundingly. I don't know if that's a word actually. They'll call it a modern home. But it's the same thing every time. A box with thin walls and questionable materials and questionable quality. It's not alluring to look at, but it's also not built with the same level of quality. D.R. Horton is the largest home builder in the US right now, I think. And this company has been going around on the internet building brand new homes that are falling apart immediately. Part of the home regret that I've been hearing about constantly, where people are spending a ton of money and all the different fees, closing costs and everything, and then you get in there and there's home inspections, but the inspectors are also being hired by the companies that are building these homes that are not really of great quality. So then when you finally get into the house has terrible things going on inside that are hidden behind the walls or in the attics or just in places that you never would think about checking, because that is not your job to do that. So if you didn't hire your own inspector to act on your best interest, well then guess what? You're with a house that's going to cost you even more money just to fix it, and technically it's a brand new house too, so you expected it to have less problems in the first place.
So now I have a whole obsession of going down this rabbit hole of watching TikToks of homeowners that hate being homeowners. And I have a question. Like, when y'all go shopping for these homes that you now hate, what do y'all look at? And it's for real a rhetorical question, because as a realtor, I know what y'all be looking at. Y'all be looking at paint and y'all be looking at flooring. That's it. Y'all be looking at the pretties. And you're not spending $250,000 for paint and flooring, honey. You need to be looking at that roof. You need to be looking at electrical. You need to be looking at HVAC. You need to be looking at plumbing. You need to be looking at landscaping. Like, which way does the rain flow when it rains real bad? Like, that's the type of stuff that you need to be looking at. And I have another TikTok about this, but the home inspector that you paid $400 to, yeah, you need to ask questions. Like, y'all literally be handing over $425 to home inspectors and don't ask no questions at all. No question. They give you 50 pages worth of stuff and you just be like, oh, okay, what's the next step? What do I got to do next?
It's wild to think that people are paying a lot of money for a home to fall apart. Which is another thing I'd like to clarify. The cheaper option is only more accessible primarily to the company than the consumer. See, the company will tell you what they say is cheap, and then you will have to hope to be a part of the target demographic that would then consider said product to be cheap. But cheap is not the same for every socioeconomic tier. So now you can enjoy your $4,000 a month modern luxury apartment that has water damage, laminate floors, and weird floor plans. Now, it's not entirely the fault of companies that make products in such a way. It is not a new concept, or perhaps even a capitalistic concept, to stay in line with trends and make to the demands of the consumers. My third point is then how trends and things going viral dictating what gets the spotlight. The internet has truly been a blessing and a curse. It's great to see what other people are into and finding out new information or forms of entertainment, yet everyone seems to forget that the internet is nothing more than a growing collection of information and communication. That's it. The problem with that is the waves of dopamine we get hit with from seeing how other people react and interact with each other. Fast fashion has notoriously become an even bigger problem because of social media. But without social media, I never would have seen a vintage chamber oven that sparked the inspiration of this video.
And then I went ahead and cut the griddle on so that you can see that the broiler is running here. You can cook steaks in this. You'll get a perfect sear on them every time. Bacon, you don't have splatters anywhere. This is a perfectly sealed burner. Do you see how well insulated that lid is? The whole chamber is very well insulated. I turned this on so you could see what it looks like down in there. You can bake roast, breads, whatever. It's a mini oven.
People have a serious case of FOMO and nearly unhinged need to share every thought without any second thought when it comes to social media. Everyone is a hero or a villain, everyone's an expert or the dumbest person, everyone has an amazing sense of design or has created the worst thing you've ever seen. I've seen homes with character be turned into generic sellable homes, and I've also seen homes customized into places I'd rather seen burnt down. Alongside that is the constant watchful eye of companies waiting for the next viral moment to then print it on every possible piece of merchandise and pretend they care about why people like it. Just like the Juneteenth ice cream Walmart sold. But they likely won't be doing that since that's clearly DEI. It feeds the capitalist god that rules over our lives, saying, hey, we all like this now. If you could just make 1,000 versions of this, people will definitely buy it. Then the capitalism guy will say, okay, we'll make this, and if a bunch of people buy it, it will now be the new standard for whatever this specific type of product is going to be moving forward. Example, refrigerators. Every refrigerator is now stainless steel. When it first came out, it was something new and worth talking about. Now it's all smudges and unnecessary smart screens. It was a one period sought after product. Now it's everywhere with slight variations. The same can be said for TVs. Once there were flat screen TVs, they became the most popular product. Now what we have is super high resolutions that most of our eyes won't even detect the unique distinction of from a slightly less quality resolution while also having a slightly curved screen. Why don't we have fridges that take up cabinet space instead of standing in a single designated space? Why not have fridges come in a variety of colors or in a circular design or designed to have more functions than cold and freezing? Why not have flat screen TVs so flat that you can roll it flat against the wall like a poster so that you can just stick it up there with the wall itself? Looks like this is the closest TV that'll get to my dream TV, so I will be linking a GoFundMe and my Patreon so you guys can start funding my TV fund. Why not have flat screens easily installed to the ceiling so it always drops down so I never have to worry about how tall my dresser is? My dresser is not tall enough, so if I lay down, it's just like right where my eyes are supposed to be, and it's just I don't always want to have to sit up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really annoying. my ideas aren't even that innovative, but the designs and function of what these products could look like could be so much better than the boxes that we have now. And side note, have you notice everything's just becoming more boxy and low render? Like, animated shows are getting a lot more simple and hardlined. Homes are a lot more simple in design and all sharp angles, and even cars are just simplified and less detailed. Like, look at the Cybertruck. It is boxy and low rendered, but it's a real thing. Like, how did you manage to have a low quality version of a car in real life? It's crazy. Yet we're calling that the future. Like, the future of innovation is looking like gold-plated trash at this point. It's really unfortunate. In conclusion of the last point, the constant trends encourage the companies who like to make it cheap and to make a cheap version to create new standards of design and living. It decreases the desire for real innovation. And I want to tie the last 2 points together, mainly because the one point is littered through all the points. So instead of 5 points, I'll have 4. It can be boiled down to accessibility versus quality. I'll break it down. I've mentioned things about the price being a major factor for accessibility through this whole video. The way we measure the quality of a product tends to be about the price itself. But let's say that you're in a space where the price isn't the major factor, but the quality is. Many of the ugliness that I find are in the designs that have surface level functionality. Products that are designed to break and services that will eventually be discontinued. This relates to what I said before about a single product needing other things that may seem complementary but directly affect the function of the product itself. For a home, it could be the location of materials. For appliances, it could be the convection versus gas functionality of a stovetop, or how many functions a toaster has. In entertainment, everything comes together in a way that makes sense. And it makes sense because each design and product has to make sense for the story. It has to have a purpose, or it's a waste of time, money, and effort. But not all of life makes sense. Since nothing is made to last forever anymore, it is inevitable that things will be in demand in the market at a higher rate. So another little workaround that the capitalist God has come up with is to try and trick you into thinking you have the opportunity to have a higher quality product that will last longer and or have more functions. I'm not saying that every product will break and that every product is a scam. Higher quality products do exist. On the mass consumer level, though, things tend to seem a lot more conflated in price for the sake of quality. Something that has been in question for some time now, since we all know that a lot of luxury products are cheap materials in disguise, being priced extraordinarily high. But that's brand names, and if you buy solely for brand names, I can't really help you in this life. So now we are in a new space where we are being upcharged for the hope for a quality whole product. And I'm not saying that a company has separate products that they make with more quality. That does happen. What I'm saying is we are now having to choose what quality we have access to based on the price. Would you like to have this service? Would you like to have this service without ads? Would you like to have this service without ads and to be able to download the content? Would you like to be able to have this service without ads, download the content, and have it on multiple devices? Or how about this? Would you like to rent an apartment? Would you like the one that doesn't come with doors or appliances? Or do you want the one with an in-unit washer and dryer, but neighbors that have a nightly parade above your head while their neighbor below you screams at their partner at how they simply don't have time to watch the kids? Both apartments require you to have an 800 credit score, a security deposit, first month's rent, last month's rent, monthly administration fees, and you'll have to pay a monthly fee to use the gym and the pool. Okay, I'm done complaining. I'm just talking, yapping, as you know. I wished there was real innovation, quality, and beauty a little bit more. And for as much as I had to learn about the great Roman Empire, there is not a single piece of Roman beauty that has made its way here. It's really all cardboard boxes and beige and the same recycled shows, content, appliances everywhere. And it's just so boring. All for the sake of being able to sell. It's almost like we live in a country where culture and art is not appreciated because of strongly held beliefs that progress is dependent on the amount of money you make, and innovation is based on the level of risk you're willing to take, and risk is an association with the measure of return on investment, which circles back to the affordability of which is not commonly seen as worth integrating into anything because of the beyond surface level need to grab more consumers rather than for the sake of beauty itself on a mass scale. So buy locally and from small businesses, but not too much, lest they become a big company, and then set the standard for a single type of design and never innovate, thus feeding the problem some more. So never let anything be popular, but always innovate and do something better for the sake of beauty, I think is what I've been trying to say. So like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Check out some other videos I've made. Again, you can find me on Twitch as KaySaOnline, or on TikTok as Kaysa, or actually K_sa_online. Yeah, okay, bye.